Hey, troops. I'm probably gonna hurt some more feelings, but I don't really care. Get over it. Um, there's some confused folks out there who seem to think that this, which is a P365, is a shrunk down miniature version of this, the P320. No, it's not. It's not at all. Not even close. The first thing I'm going to say is if you're going to be a jackass and just try to insult me and run your yap, don't bother because I'm just going to delete your ass. I'm sick of you idiots. Granted, there's probably going to be somebody that wants to argue that I'm wrong. You know, there's people who want to argue that what SIG published in SIG's manual on SIG's website isn't real. It doesn't exist. They never said that when you can go look it up for yourself. I even made the video step by step for the slow people in the head to follow along on how to find that. And all they can do is throw out the insults because they don't want to believe it. It's not their reality. The real reality is not what they want. And I'm sure we're going to have those people with this video too. I'm going to break these two apart side by side for you. And let's go through them piece by piece, side by side at the same time. And let's look at some of the differences. And you tell me, are these the same gun? Is the 365 just a shrunk down version of the 320? Compare it. Look at it with your own eyes. And if you think it is, you maybe need to lay off the wacky weed or something. But it ain't. And if somebody else trying to argue it is, you're full of it. You can clearly look, compare the parts between these two firearms and clearly see, without a doubt, they are built differently. The parts are different. These are not the same thing. So let's get into it. And before, you know, the SIG lovers start trying to bash on me, I'm a SIG hater. I'm going to tell you again, as I've said in other videos, I am not a SIG hater. I've been to SIG. I've trained at SIG. I've liked my instructors at SIG. They have nice facilities at SIG. I enjoyed my time at SIG. I was watching somebody the other night who said he was a police officer, he's a firearms instructor, so on and so forth. And he actually did say that. He was talking about the 320 and all these negligent discharges, so on and so forth. And he says, you know, he doesn't see anything wrong with 320s. He can't find anything wrong with them. And he goes, how come it's just the 320s? How come there's nothing being said about the 365? Because that's just a shrunk down version of the 320. And I'm like, dude, are you on crack? No, it's not. Completely different. They might look similar on the outside, but they are not. There are some differences on the outside, not huge differences, but internally, they are completely different firearms. So you cannot say that the 365 is the mini version of the 320, so people are just picking on the 320 because they go bang when they're not supposed to go bang. So everybody's honing in on one particular model of firearm, and it doesn't make sense to me because the 365 is not the same thing. So you can't compare the two. If it was actually a mini version of the 320, odds are it would be experiencing the same issues, but it's not. So by it not experiencing the same issues, it makes sense because it's not built the same. There is our lower in our grip module. Here is how the 320 comes out. This needs to pull out like so. We got it, right? Now, that was in that hole. This picks up and out like so. We've had it, right? These tangs you see right here lock down into the rear of there. It goes in like so. Back first, pushes in, seats down in, then we put our pin back in. You gotta get it just right, and then it'll drop itself right in there. That's how the 320. Here we go. It's going back in. There it is. It's in there. That's how the 320 frame comes out and gets reassembled. The 365, it's different, right? I'll hold them up side by side just in case you're still confused. Completely different, right? Oh, but it has a little leverman diggy right here, right? It's the same. No, it's not. This has nothing to do with disassembly. All right? So, look in the way back. See that pin right there? That's what needs to come out. We don't have that on the 320. So to take that pin out, we don't need a hammer, okay? We don't need punches. I'm using a Glock tool on a SIG. Go cry me a river. Okay? So I'm going to use my Glock tool, and I'm going to push that pin out through. Here it comes. See it coming? I have the pin. There's my pin. Set that on the workbench so I don't lose it. Now, whoops, I just bumped you. That pin released. The rear picks up, and out it comes. That's it. That's all there is to it. So to get it back in, set it down in there. Just like that. Seat it down in and put the pin back in. Like so. There it is. Pin is in. Completely different than the 320, right? This is not the Mini-Me. Two slides assembled side by side. This one is your 65. This one is your 320. Can you see the differences just by looking at it from this point? All right. Let me turn it around a little bit, give you a different angle. See that difference? Turn it some more. See the differences? I'm going to break them apart here in a minute. Look at your lugs here on the back of your firing pin. Look how this is formed. Look how this is formed. Okay. Here's your safety lock in your 320. You don't have that over here. Notice how this is designed, okay? So the firing pin will not move forward right now. Once that button pushes down, notice the button is notched out and comes around that firing pin. Now the firing pin moves forward, right? See, I can move it forward with my finger. When that comes up, that is your physical block, and it no longer moves forward. I have the 320 and the 365 disassembled side by side. There's the 65, here's the 20. So we're going to go through these as is. We're not going to break it down any further than this because we don't need to. And we're going to compare a few parts to show you these are not the same guns. This is not this in the miniature form. This is not Mini-Me of this. Let's start with the grip modules, okay? The big one is the 20, this is the 65. It's the same idea, same concept, but this is not a mini version of this. Can we see the differences? All right. Here we have a pin that rotates. It's a lever, it rotates down. Then our frame, our receiver, comes up and comes out. On this one, we have a pin on the back that we need to push out. You don't need to drive it out with a hammer. It will just press out through by hand. And then our frame, our serialized part, will lift up out. Same idea, same concept, but these are different. Next, here are the serialized parts. This is what the feds consider the firearm, okay? This is your lower receiver. This is the 320, here's the 365, okay? Notice how it is built differently. Take a look at the sears, take a look at the ejectors. Here's your ejector, here's your ejector. It is built differently, right? Okay. Let me rotate these around on the right side and right side. They are built differently. On the bottom, here's your trigger spring on the 320. Where's your trigger spring here? It's horizontal, right? Completely different components here. This is not a smaller version of this. Okay, there it is. Let's take a look at the strikers. Get them oriented the same way here. This is the 320 striker. Here is the 365 striker. Notice the differences, right? Okay. Look at the lugs. That's that little tang sticking out on the bottom. Right here. And right here. They are built completely differently, aren't they? They are. What else is different? What's obvious? What is so obviously different between these two? Right there. The safety lock, right? The 320 has that safety lock. You see anything there? Nope. I'll even rotate it around for you. It ain't there, is it? Doesn't exist. Two completely different parts. The 365 striker assembly is not the 320 striker assembly in miniature. Let's take a look at the slide. Here's the 320 slide, okay? Here's the 365 slide. 365, right? So, do they look the same? Oh, they're black, and they have these markings, and they look the same, and the sights look the same, so it's the same thing. It ain't. Look on the back. See a great big huge difference right there, right? What do we got right there? What don't we have right here? Well, wait a minute. How is that possible? It's the same thing. It's a minigun. It's a mini version. This one had a baby and became this one, right? It did not. SIG loves roll pins. And they're a pain in the ass, is what it is. So here's the 320 slide. Here is the 365 slide, okay? If I can get the light right, you can see the 365 there. Just to prove I ain't trying to mix and mash for you. Top to top, what do you got right there? Right there. What do you see? Oh, we see a hole right straight down through. Yeah, you get a roll pin there. On the 320, that doesn't exist. So let me flip this over for you. Okay, 320 doesn't exist. 365, there it is. This is not a mini-me of this. Look at the extractor claws. Here's the 320. Notice how small that extractor is right there. Look at the 365. Look at that extractor. Yeah, that is not a shrunk down version. Completely different, right? This is different than this. Completely machined differently. Not even close to being the same. You can see the difference right here in these notches. Notice how wide that is. Notice how narrow this is. Okay. The barrels, that's the 320 barrel. That's the 65 barrel. They're pretty similar, not far off, but they are different. Notice at the top, we have a flat surface here, and we are notched out here, right? There are differences in these barrels. Last but not least, while it's torn apart, the little turny lever I mentioned to be able to remove the receiver from the grip modules. Okay, here's the one for the 320, right? Yeah. Okay, there it is. Here is the one out of the 365. Not even close, right? Obviously, this one didn't mate with somebody and produce this one. There you have it, peeps. Two guns side by side that some people think are the same thing, which aren't. And if you want to argue that, I'm not wasting my time with you. If you want to have a productive discussion, we can do that. Have a good one.